everyone, I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Bianca.
And welcome back to the Preservice PODSQUAD podcast. And today, we're going to be trying to give you some motivation to shift your perspective.
That is right, Chelsea. So we're coming to you this Monday morning with some motivation that will help you have a more positive attitude on starting the week, and also just a reminder that you are able to make change wherever you see fit in your district, in your community. And so, let's get started with the story that we have for you today. So when our nation was being founded, there's a story about an interaction between George Washington and Ben Franklin for the Constitutional Convention. And the story goes that, Ben Franklin was looking at George Washington's chair for about 3 months, and always when he was looking at that picture, and it's sort of a painted sun that's engraved into this wooden chair that the president would sit on. Ben Franklin was always looking at it, and being the curious man that he was, and very talkative actually, fun fact, he was always looking at that sun, not knowing whether it was a rising sun or a setting sun. With that story, for one of my education classes at school, I wrote a short poem based on that story, how our nation was founded with the idea that we're going to have a democratic government. And so I wrote a little bit of a poem that I called "A Republic, Madam, If You Can Keep It," which is also based on a line that Ben Franklin said coming out of the Constitutional Convention to a woman who was passing by. Like, do we have a democracy or do we not? And he said that we have a republic, madam, if you can keep it. So the poem that I wrote goes like this. People often looked at the president's chair, not being able to tell if it was a rising or setting sun. The future of a new education system can be seen across the horizon. Our schools fight to increase multiculturalism within the curriculum, to attack the roots of racism, to cultivate acceptance, if not tolerance at the least, of others' differences, to train responsible citizens. In the end, equal treatment, equal access. The power lies within us to ensure that the future of our education system is a rising sun. So for this poem that I wrote, it's really, I am no poet, but I just kind of wanted to provide some commentary on the fact that our education system is not a setting sun, and the people who acquire that positive mindset and keep it within them that this is, our education system is on the up and up, and we as educators are going to make change and make the improvements that we see necessary. It's definitely not going to be a setting sun on the horizon. It's going to be something that we are looking forward to, and we are only going to improve and, as I said, increase multiculturalism in our curriculum and make sure our students are feeling represented, making sure that we're not making racist or degrading remarks towards certain groups of people, and just treating, our students and community members equally, that we all have space in this world, and that doesn't mean that one person has to, matter more than the next, that everyone is welcome and accepted in school.
Yeah. First of all, that was a great poem. It was really well written. I liked it a lot. And I like the title too. I didn't know that little story, so that's so cool. I think when you were reading the poem, the whole time I was just thinking about hope. That's a word that was standing out to me. And I think that ties back to the idea that our education system is a rising sun because there is so much hope that's within the field. And I highlighted 2 lines in the poem because I think that embodies that idea of hope and just exciting opportunities ahead. And the lines that I liked the most was to cultivate acceptance, if not tolerance at the least, of others' differences, to train responsible citizens. And I think that just emphasizes the responsibility that educators hold to sort of raise and train and educate the future generations of our society, and we have a really, really important role. And I think in the day-to-day of dealing with, figuring out lesson plans, the printer's not working, there's traffic on the way to school, it's very easy to lose sight of the end goal. And the end goal, I think, is that line, to train responsible citizens. And that's just so hopeful and exciting for me. And it is a very big responsibility, but it's one to, not take lightly and be excited about. And we can have fun with it. And I just really like that idea that our education system is a rising sun.
Exactly. I think that, with thinking about this, this poem and story, I think it also has to do with a lot of teachers already having so much like in their role, but also when possible questioning everything that, is going on in the school and just providing, like giving themselves time to self-reflect and think very thoroughly about the students in their classrooms, about who they're teaching. Not only who are they teaching, but who, in the future are my students going to interact with, which is always going to be a diverse population. But just, you know, like you said, train responsible citizens, like people who are culturally aware and like globally aware of diverse people in the world, and just like also any lesson plans that you make, like who is your target audience, what history are you teaching about, what history are you not including, what do you need to include, and always questioning what your practices are and also people's practices are, and just kind of speaking up if you see that something is wrong or like not morally correct.
Yeah, and the whole concept of like a rising and setting sun, it just reminded me so much of the half glass full, half glass empty type of thing, which is just based on your perspective and the way in which you choose to view things. And I think it's important to highlight that your perspective is a choice. You make a decision to see things in a positive or negative way, and you can choose to see the good or you can choose to see the bad. And your experience in education and in life in general is going to be a lot better if you choose to see the good than if you choose to see all the negatives. And so I think it's really important that we're choosing to see the field right now as a rising sun, like because of all the things we mentioned. There's just so much hope and excitement. We have so many opportunities, oh good.
It's all about switching your mindset.
Yeah.
I feel like that's all it is. It's a lot of like mental balance and just being able to switch and see the good. Just like you said, keeping a positive attitude.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but we're hoping that for all our listeners out there too, you're keeping a positive attitude about the future, even if you are experiencing challenges. Just know that you have overcome so many challenges in the past, and you will continue to do the same with anything that you're facing right now. And we hope that you remember that going into the week. No matter what challenges you're facing, you will conquer them, and just keep a positive attitude for you and for your students. And we are sending you into this week with those positive, sunshiny Monday vibes. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you.